Sunday, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. That's pretty much all I know from that song. What's up, everybody? This is your boy John, aka Nice Trade, and welcome to another cryptocurrency video. Today, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, what it's doing, and the rest of the market is following it. And also, too, what is the difference between investing and trading, at least from my perspective. And where I actually and what I'm doing with my portfolio currently in coins. So let's get right into it. If you look at Bitcoin right now, my goodness, man, what are you gonna say? It is just it just looks bloody, right? So let's take a look at Coin Market Cap even. If you take a look at Coin Market Cap, everything is down. This is no news to some people that have been following cryptocurrency, right? I mean, you look at it, 13% Bitcoin down, 16%, 14%, 12%, blah, 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 down the line. Hit. And if you look at one of the ones that I've invested in, Icon, 27%. So it's on the higher end of those that have been hit hard. We look at the market cap. I mean, it's really been cut in half. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we are looking at over 700 billion, $800 billion market cap across the board. We're now at 383. Looking at Bitcoin dominance around the same at 35%. So look, what can you say? Everything is in downtrend. And if you take a look at Bitcoin, I mean, this is the daily chart, but if you look at the weekly chart, just give you an idea, I drew these lines based on the weekly chart. In my mind, there's a pretty strong supply and demand level here. It starts here at 73.91, and then it goes all the way to the low of this candle, which would be 55.11. So, if to be honest, probably a help. I mean, and then look, in my mind, if you want to see a pullback, if it goes below 55.11, I think there's some support levels in here on the daily that you could look at. You could look at 5,000 or 4,800 as a support level, no doubt. I mean, you can draw many support levels. The one that I see that was tested quite a bit, or came back and tested the ground, you know what I mean? It broke through, was around 3,000 level, 3,025. So if it breaks through this 5,800 or the 7,400 to 5,800 level, or to 5,500 level. I mean, I have it drawn here at 5,800 because I took the body of this red candle. But truly, the demand level goes all the way down to the bottom of this candle, so it'd be 5,500. But 7,400 to 5,800, 5,500. If it goes below 5,500 and kind of stays there, it doesn't just wick down, but actually, even if it wicks down below it, that's not a great sign. Look, if we're going to come back and we're going to test the 7,400 level, and we're going to chop around inside 7,400 to 5,500, 5,800 and start to consolidate and base off there, it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it's interesting, man. What it's showing me is Bitcoin, although it has its own personality and it's different than stocks and equities, it's really not that different in the sense that when you moon this hard, or when what we call in the equities world, when you go parabolic like this, I mean, what is it? You have to come and form a base and start moving in some sort of regular rhythm at some point. And maybe what we're seeing now with Bitcoin is that it's starting to come back and wanting to find that base so they can actually start making somewhat moves that are sustainable. Who knows? That is complete speculation. I could be entirely wrong. All we have right now is the charts. It's telling us it's really bearish. I mean, to state the obvious, we're looking at a weekly level. Even if we look at the monthly, I'll show you there's a good demand level on the monthly. Just if FYI, if you guys are looking at it. This demand level, it starts at, I didn't draw it in here because I'm not basing it off the monthly chart, but if you were to see a reaction here, I think, what is this? The open, 47.43. So 47.43 could be a level of reaction, and it goes all the way down to 30.25. So you could see a reaction off of 47.43. In fact, let me draw this in here. I'm just going to make it approximate. Like, again, to me, it's not an exact science, but to a certain extent, the buyers are at this level here. And if you were to look here, just that's a monthly line. The rest were based on weekly. But I mean, you could go, shoot, if you really want to, you could go down lower, but I'm not looking at that. But I would say you're looking at, those are the levels I would be looking at. You don't know what's going to happen. And, but I'll tell you just really quickly, my portfolio, I put everything into ICX. Everything that I allotted towards crypto, and aside from I have other holdings, but my altcoin holding is in ICX right now. And if you look at ICX, I mean, sorry, I'm trying to get my mouse back here. Hold on. There we go. It doesn't want to come back. There we go. So ICX right now, I mean, I know a lot of people are in ICX and we thought, hey, this is a good long-term hold, which I still think it is. I like the technology, I like the vision, I like the roadmap. This is my personal opinion on ICX. Now, if I look here, let's come down to this interesting level, right? Good support level went down to almost 45, but you know, this 50K Sats level, excuse me. You know, so I mean, look, you know, we don't know. It's going to continue to follow the Bitcoin trend most likely, and you know, when's it going to turn? I mean, so I want to get into it really quickly. What's the difference between trading and investing for me, from my perspective? Well, I could tell you I trade a particular way in the equities market. I have a very strict criteria in what I trade, and it is the criteria and the niche for me is a different mentality if I'm investing in coins. If I'm investing in coins, this is an investment where I'm thinking a longer term hold or maybe a month or two or three. It's still important for me to have a plan in my mind. I don't have a great plan with ICX, so this is kind of a fault on my part. I just cryptocurrency has this way of like luring you into a false sense of like, hey, we're always going to bounce, we're always going to go up, because historically speaking, cryptocurrency has always bounced and gone up over time. It's very volatile though. It's much more volatile in my experience than equities, right? So you get very solid tickers that move like this and lose half its value, you know, or almost, you know, it went down to about half its value in Bitcoin. It went down even more than it lost its value in USD because Bitcoin was going down as well, if that makes sense. So lost half its Bitcoin value, you know, ICX did here. And it's just in an ugly downtrend, right? But my mentality with ICX is I did not exit my position. In fact, well, I did exit it up near 83, and then I got back in 79 or so, and then I hodled. Did I get out? No, I bought more at 85K. So I'm in here at a really bad average, right? That's a really bad average because it's really up here at the peak, and that's why I kind of like went against some of my own. Yeah, you know, it's just hard for me right now to predict, you know, this kind of volatile market. Now, a lot of people were saying Bitcoin is going down. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people throughout the Bitcoin community, and they kind of predicted this 8,000 to 7,500 drop level. And hey, kudos to them. They predicted it. That's great, you know. And so, you know, me holding on to ICX. I'll just show you really quickly. If I were to really trade the way I normally trade in equities and look at the ICX, let me tell you my first position to exit would have been, I'm going to show you real quick, just based on where's the first indication that there was a trend reversal based on the way that I trade. And I'll show you real quick. If I were to look here, this is the 5-minute chart, and you're wondering, well, John, how can you tell the 5-minute chart here, like what's going on? You know what I mean? So the first time that there would have been a chance for me to truly exit the position and to see that there was a trend reversal based on the way I trade in equities, and if I'm applying that same kind of strategy to coins, to let's say ICX in this particular case, it would be, and you, if you're wondering what this moving average is here, this is the 20 simple moving average, so 20 period simple moving average, and I wait for a push in. I'm not even gonna, I can't share exactly my strategy because it's not really mine to share. It's based on another person, my mentor, and it's not something I discovered on my own. I took it from him, and it wouldn't be fair for me to share it because I've never seen it shared. It's not a common pattern. It's not something you see. I've never seen it. It was completely discovered by my mentor. Like he discovered, and I say discovered because you can't create things in the market. He didn't create something. He did discover a pattern, and he created training around it to be able to elucidate it more, like understand. But I never saw anyone else discover it in the way that he did. So therefore, I'm not showing you exactly and telling you and describing it because it's not mine to share. If you're interested in this particular pattern and how it's traded in equities, again, you know, I can share it with you, but I'm not going to share his strategy, right? So my point is this. The first time for me to have an indication that there was an actual trend reversal that's solid is on the 5-minute chart. Now, some people may say that's too low of a time frame. It may be for some people, and that's where you should go up to an upper time frame. It moves, the higher the time frames, the more time you have to take action on a particular trade. I didn't apply those principles here because I had my investor hat on and I was thinking kind of longer term. I wasn't thinking trader. So this is where if I were trading, the first sign of a reversal now is here at the below the 88.68 or thereabouts, and you see how it came up to test that level, a couple times. Even came up here to test it, and my stop in trading would have been high a day here, right? So my stop actually, would have been above here, and so 91.59. So you're looking at a stop of about 3,000 sats or whatever it is. So my point is this. Now, did it continue to go down from there? Did it ever come back to test that high again? Like, if I look here, I'm just going to keep going. It tested that level. Look at that level it tested a couple times, right? So this is a legitimate, hey, when it broke that level, like now, you may be wondering, how would you, and I know I can't share exactly what the strategy is, like I said, but I can tell you that if I were trading, that's what I would be looking for, is the first place of entry would be below there. Now, I could go to a 1-minute chart, but I wouldn't do that on ICX. I do trade 1-minute charts and 5-minute charts and equities, but I don't trade that in coins. I don't even trade coins necessarily, like I said, the same way I've been trading equities. It's just not in my mentality yet. But you see how it tested this a couple times. One could say double top or whatever. You could see some normal head and shoulder pattern or potentially anything in here. I mean, that kind of reflects that. But the true place of entry, which I've never seen anybody. I've taken every single course you can imagine on planet Earth when it comes to equities and stock trading and support and resistance, supply, demand, forex, you name it. I probably have taken it. There's no doubt in my mind that somebody who introduces something to me, I'd be very surprised if they haven't introduced something to me that I haven't already seen. And I'm just saying that. I'm not saying I'm an expert in those things. It's just once you're around this game long enough, you've seen different things. The one thing I've never seen anyone else introduce is my mentor strategy. Like I said, it is just so freaking beast. And I'm going back to equities trading. I took a little hiatus from it the last 2 months as I got involved into crypto, but that was the first time in I would say 4 years that I didn't actually trade regularly, like every single day. And so this is actually something that I'm actually looking forward to get back into. My point is, you see it went down, hammered, and then it just keeps going. It just keeps going. It just keeps going, right? So it goes all the way down here. Now, again, in trading, I probably would have taken profits at different levels based upon certain criteria. I wouldn't have rode it all the way down to 45K sats or 47K sats where ICX went. So I don't want you to lead you to believe that, oh, John gets in at 88K sats if he were to trade it, and then he rides it all the way down. No, man, typically I'm a day trader as well in what I do. And I day trade, meaning I'm in and out on one day. There's very few instances where I will hold something overnight. And that's only because I think, there's a certain type of stock that I trade that I may hold overnight because it's just tanking. It was a pump and dump, and you grab it at the top and a short. I'm mostly a short bias trader. I do trade long, but mostly my money is made in the short side, probably 75% or more. So my point is, so a trader is thinking, at least a day trader is thinking in and out on one day, maybe potentially hold overnight. Swing trader is even something different than a day trader. Again, that's even a different criteria. You're thinking longer, bigger term time frames, 4-hour chart, daily chart, whatever it is. Your entries may be consolidated down to 15-minute or 1 hour. Me, I'm trading 1-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 20-minute charts, and a 2-hour chart and a daily chart. Very rarely do I get above that. So my point is this. A trader is thinking, hey, I'm going to make short-term gains. I was thinking ICX, I was going to hold it until Yuan Chain came out, and I was thinking that it was going to continue to go up because it looked bullish. However, Bitcoin taking a beating in the market has just brought everything along with it. ICX has particularly gotten a little bit more hammered than other coins. It's down 27% or 11% today, does it say? Point is, if you look at coin market cap, it is down a little higher than others. So did I pick wrong? It depends on your time frame. ICX, for me, as an altcoin, I think, to me, it's more of the technology and the long-term vision of it. So that's why I invested in ICX, and I'm not thinking that it needs to go up in a certain amount of time. Now, would I prefer to go up before Wan Chain comes out? Absolutely, because I would like to at least sell a portion of my ICX holdings to be able to put into Wan, which is a similar type of technology going after the financial industry, and I kind of like that coin. So I'm intending to invest in Wan Chain. But as you can see here, if anyone was ever confused as to me being their financial advisor, maybe this is proof to say John is not the financial advisor you want to be talking to. I'm sharing with you some of my mentality. Now, I'm putting on, again, my cryptocurrency hat. I have not yet got my feet grounded in cryptocurrency to even suggest that I would consider myself to beginner to like mid, not even intermediate. I would say beginner to intermediate in crypto. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, of course, support and resistance and trading and all that kind of stuff, and trend lines and whatever you want to call it, man. I used to use RSI, I used to use CCI, I used to, you know what I mean? I used to use all these different, now what I typically do is to be honest, I do use some other moving averages sometimes, like 50 and 200, simple moving averages. I used to use exponential, but now I use simple. For all of my moving averages are now simple instead of exponential. But that being said, I typically, when I day trade, I'm using something called VWAP, which is a volume weighted average price. I don't even use that too much anymore. It's really the 20 simple moving average. That being said, on crypto, I do have, the 20 on my charts, but I'm not, again, I'm not really trading it. I am looking at some support and resistance, and for Bitcoin, like I showed you earlier. And so my point is this: if you're a trader, you have to have very specific rule set in order to survive the markets. You have to have a stop loss that you're almost rigid to. I know some people who have been very experienced traders who trade and don't have a hard stop, meaning they have a generalized, stop this if I get this level. When you're a beginning trader, things have to be mechanical. You have to say, I'm going to risk $200 on this trader. I'm going to risk $500 or whatever your stop loss is, right? And then you actually have calculations to say, I'm going to get in at this price and my stop is going to be at this price. And you could set things called hard stops in there. The only thing with hard stops in equities is because you're depending on the volume that you trade, or the type of coin that you trade and the type of stock that you trade and the volume of that stock. If you do a hard stop at the market price, you can actually get a really bad average in your exit for that stop. It's called slippage. So typically what I do is I do set hard stops, but I set them at limit orders. So I will say, hey, my stop for this is in between this and this price, because typically what I'll see, let's say, for example, if I was bullish on ICX, we were showing this coin earlier, right? We're saying, hey, John, if you got in at this level, up here at the 90, whatever, this level right here. Let me go back over here. Okay, right up here, right? Let's say if I were going long, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm long, even though I wouldn't go long in this position, even though I did in ICX, I bought more at like 85K or something like that. So really bad. But anyway, so if I were going long, my stop, let's say, would be down below this level, 88.71. Let's say my stop is like 88. And let's say I would get taken out here at 88. And then, but let's say I'm like, you know what? I want my stop between 88 and 87K sats. Like, I don't want for it to stop me out and take me out of this position at like 75 or something. Like, let's say there's a bunch of slippage, right? And it just keeps going down, chewing up all the different buy orders to get me out of the price. What I would do is I would set a stop limit, meaning if it jumps over my stop because there's just so many buy orders, it just quickly goes down and jumps over what I was trying to get at. I didn't have enough volume there to get me out of enough buy orders to get me out of my position. What I would do is I would have a limit order here at, let's say, 88 to 87K sats. My limit order be 87, meaning, and look what happens is you have a lot of opportunities for price to come back and take you out. So my point is, like, I used to use stop market orders in equities, and it would take me out of the position regardless. It would just chew up as many buy orders there was until my buy order on my short position was filled, or on my long position, right? Or my sell order, whatever it is. Like, I'm getting confused. But my point is, if you use limit orders, price will typically come back to that resistance level or that support level and take you out of your position. This is something I learned over time. So I use limit orders in my stops now. That being said, you guys, as you could tell, like, I'm just trying to give you examples, and it's a little bit scattered. I apologize, but if I'm investing, I'm not worried about stops. Like, for example, I'm still in my ICX position, and it's at 50 2K. Now, I'm not suggesting that people like should have held on to this. More experienced Bitcoin traders, more experienced altcoin traders, probably traders would have had a plan to get out. Like, hey, if you know what, ICX goes below this level, I'm out and I'm going to buy in a dip, because they expected Bitcoin to dip down. And so therefore there's like, over time, I expect to, if I continue to want to quote unquote trade and not hodl, I'm probably going to get more familiar with those, with a way to trade coins that will get me out of positions and not have to be along for the ride when it goes down. Currently, I don't have a good methodology or a good philosophy or a good process for me to like adhere to get out of these positions and buy back at lower dips, right? So and this is something I would recommend if you're not in a position to know what to do. And like for me, because I'm a longer term a prospect, the worst case scenario is I hold ICX through this and it goes up later past where I enter. I may have to wait a month or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? But because my long term outlook on ICX is bullish, and I think it could go up to be, remember, if ICX goes up to $100 coin value, that would make it current. It would make the market cap for ICX at the currently 1/3 the size of Ethereum is now. Like, not where it will be in a year, let's say, or whatever. But if ICX goes up to $100 a coin, the market cap for ICX would be 1/3 of what Ethereum is now. So in my mind, I'm like, if Ethereum never went up in value over the next year and ICX went up, can it be 1/3 the size of Ethereum? Maybe that's, maybe that's too aggressive, but even if it was 1/9 the size, that would mean that ICX would go up to 30 or $35, right? So point is, like, or 1/10, let's say 30, you know what I mean? It'd be $30 coin. So I'm in at below 10, I'm in at about $8.50 or $9 or whatever it is. And, do I expect ICX to go up to, give me 3 times that value it? So yeah, so that's the way I'm looking at it, right? But it could potentially go now. That's worst case scenario. Like, so that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, if I just hold on to ICX, I'm fine. Now, that's not a great plan. I'm not suggesting that people follow that plan. And experienced traders and coins are probably looking at that plan and saying, hey, that's not the best idea. You shouldn't be doing it. And they're right. But I'm also not worried. You know what I mean? Because for me, as I'm learning a better process and strategy to utilize in coin trading, I don't mind hodling something rather than panic selling. Like, I'm not panicked, right? The worst case scenario would be is if you're panicking and selling right now, at least from my perspective, and I start selling my position, below 50K sats. It's like, oh my God, then I take a loss. I haven't taken a loss yet on ICX, taken a loss on paper, but I didn't expect to do anything with this. The only thing I would worry about for me is because I did want to use some of my at least partial holdings of ICX, and I wanted to put that into into Wan Chain when it comes out. So that's where it's like that kind of would be a little bit irritating if I wasn't able to throw, some of the ICX gains I had, because I wouldn't want to get rid of ICX at this level really. Now, if I really wanted to, if I'm like, Wan Chain is going to go up or it's going to come out tomorrow, I don't think Wan Chain is coming out in this market. I mean, could be wrong. We don't know when Wan Chain is coming out and hitting the exchanges, but if they have any control over when they can get listed, which I believe that they do, then they probably want to wait for a Bitcoin to reverse and trend, or at least not completely reverse, but you would want to completely reverse and be in a bullish trend, because even if they pop at the open, and being on the exchange and they go for a little pump, the chances of it coming back down in a bearish Bitcoin market are quite high, right? They eventually will, that bubble will burst for Wan Chain if it comes out right now, and it'll go back down to previous levels, low levels, right? Just like every other altcoin in the market. So my thoughts are that probably Wan Chain is going to wait until they see a turn in the market. They want to ride a good trend. They want to ride the wave of Bitcoin. They don't want to go against the current. I don't know if they can control it. I'm not too familiar with that. I think they can control when they're listed on Binance or KuCoin or whatever. But if they can, then they're probably thinking, heck no, we ain't getting in these waters right now. There's a freaking tidal wave right now. We don't want to be paddling out against the tidal wave. You want to go with the flow. You want to be brought out with the current, not with the tidal wave current, because you die in a tidal wave, man. You die in a tsunami, man. You don't want to get no front in no tsunami, and you don't want to jump in no waters where there's a tsunami warning. Right now, Bitcoin is saying there's a tsunami warning. Yo, and it's going down the wrong way. So that's where I would be a bit annoyed if Wan Chain were to come out and my ICX holdings are like half the value or lower than half the value of what they were a week ago. then that would kind of be irritating. Um, but you'll probably notice like I said, I'm not panicking about ICX. And that's because even though it wasn't a great strategy probably for me to hold on to ICX because it was up at 91, 92K sats and some more experienced traders probably got out, and said, hey, I'll get back in. They probably put it into fiat, hopefully, and could buy back at lower prices. Kudos to them if you did that. But I'm also not panicked because in the back of my mind, I always knew, well, I don't have a great strategy for getting out and buying back in on a dip right now. But I know that I picked the right coin for me to hodl through this kind of time. So that's like my safety net. I'm not going to die. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not meaning figuratively, like I'm not going to collapse my account. I'm just in a position where I can't really I'm not going to allow myself to cash out at these prices. But if Wan Chain were to come out right now, I'd be like, I'd have to really think about what I do with my ICX holdings. Do I sell? Do I put it into Wan? Like, it would be tough, right? So as a trader, though, you have to think, as a trader, you have to consider certain things. So I'm not at a position right now where I am a trader in crypto. I'm more of like an investor. And it doesn't mean you can't use technical analysis. It doesn't mean you can't use patterns. I'm all about process for me. I I don't like haphazardly trading any market without a pretty good process about how I go about that. It's just the way I've been trained. I'm more if I want to trade, I don't want to do things temporarily. Like, if I want to develop a process around trading coins, then I need to develop a process around that. If I just want to invest because I think in general it to me, yeah, so I'm probably not making a ton of sense, but I don't want to do things just event based. I want to do things process based. And so uh, I have to develop that sound type of process for myself that fits with my lifestyle, how much time I want to spend in front of the screen trading versus investing, and then what time frame I want to do, how much time it goes into that, and then develop a strategy based upon that. Like, okay, do I want to be a longer term time frame trader and more of an investor with coins? Then I'll develop a strategy based on that. Equities and day trading, I want that to continue to be the way that I like do my day-to-day income coming in from that. That's how I want I like day trading in equities, and I'm very familiar with it. I got a great strategy, and probably that will, at least right now, is going to be my bread and butter kind of go-to thing, which I'll probably go back to here in the next week or two, just continually trading on a daily basis. Now, this supplemental to that will be my coins and my altcoin strategy, and sort of like not my day-to-day income, but my longer term investments that may bring some pretty extreme wealth if you're able to pick accurately. I may look into ICOs and getting into ICOs potentially, or at least getting into the exchanges when the ICOs hit exchange, after post ICO, to get in there on some legitimate coins like Wan Chain. That may be continually be a part of my strategy and long-term holdings. So my point is, I'm going a little bit all over the place, you guys, but as a trader versus an investor, you have different things to consider: the time frame you're trading, etc. What is your plan? So you guys, leave a comment below. Right now, just for Bitcoin in general, I'm hodling my stuff. I'm not suggesting you do that, but this is what I'm doing because I'm in this position of like I'm hodling whatever coins I have, and I'm gonna let weather the storm here. I don't believe that cryptocurrency is over. I know that there's some talking heads. Whoops. There's some talking heads out on CNN and other CNBC that, are like, predicting the Bitcoin crash and stuff like that. And who knows, it may crash even further, which this could be considered a crash here. But is cryptocurrency over? Ah, man, if you've used cryptocurrency, you know that this is the future. Yeah, so that's how I'm looking at it. So, all right, you guys, it's been a while since I created a video. Just want to appreciate all the support and everybody actually asking for a video. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is Super Bowl Sunday. I know we started out with a song today. Hope you like the song. But Super Bowl Sunday, Patriots versus Eagles. I'm not a fan of either team, but I do like the matchup, so I'm going to be watching it with my nephew and maybe some other folks. But hope you guys have a great day. Hope you're investing in the market and being safe about it. And subscribe and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the post notifications if you want to be notified for future videos. Appreciate the time today, guys. Be safe. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out. If I could find the stop button. Peace out.